Hello again. All right, so I'm on a different part of the build. Actually, the first part, and I'm going to go real slow and real easy on it. They've given me extra wood, and in the instructions, and I'll show you those in just a moment. In the instructions, it does indicate to make some cuts to properly position and shape it. I'm actually not going to do it exactly the way they say in the instructions. So I found a series of videos from Stu Mac that explain how to build a ukulele, and I think it gives a little clearer indication of what's really going on and what needs to happen. So I'm going to follow the processes that they set out, and I'll include a link to that video series. So let's have a look at the parts. Okay, so this is a come on, light, there we go. This is a detailed look, or close-up look of the sides. Alright, and if we look here, we can see that there are some marks all the way around. This is on the inside. That follows the shape around. It does indicate which side is the top. Alright, and we have the same situation on the other side. Alright, so what the instructions indicate, and this, I'm going to be really critical of this of Solar Guitars on the instructions, because they're really difficult. And you would think that when you're selling something as complex as a custom ukulele, and something as expensive as this is, that the instructions would be better. Some of this, what it looks to me like, is that it was written in French and then translated using the old Babelfish translator, so it was before Google got hold of it. So that's my sense. Now what it says here is we're gonna draw some lines. We're gonna draw some lines around the heel block and the tail block. We're gonna cut with a fine-tooth saw, and then their method is to begin gluing, and that's where I'm gonna deviate dramatically. I'm gonna use the suggestion from Stu Mac's videos to make a body board, and that will give me a firm anchoring point. I can test, I can measure, I can make sure everything's gonna fit before I put a single drop of glue on it. And that's what I'm going to be working on today, is setting up the body board and prepping for the first glue up. Thank you very much. Okay, so in the Stu Mac video, the body board, they just drew a single line down that, and they used it to anchor the body as they worked with it and shaped it and positioned it and glued it and so on like that. I felt like I needed a little more indexing, so I marked the center line. I marked 4 lines out from each edge. There's a 1-inch space in between. Here is a mark. This is to align the back. So I have the bracing, and I have the indicator for the bracing, and that just lines up like that and lines up on the center. All right, and that's helping me to find the symmetry of the uke body. These marks are about 85, maybe 84 millimeters away from the center. I felt like it was 84 when I measured from the center line here. Then when I did the other side, I felt like it was more like 85. You know, millimeters is small, so. But I'm going to use this to line up the parts as I figure out how to clamp it up and anchor it down. More to come. Okay, so with the body board set up, I've done the initial press in, and you can see it's awful fat. Here's my index marks. These sides should come in at least somewhere around there. I'm not 100% sure how close they should be. I know some of this here was meant to be an overhang, but you can see as I'm setting it here, I've got a lot of gap on both sides. So it is meant to have some of the meat removed here. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to do a correspondingly same. I'm going to do the same amount on the other side, no matter if I can say it or not. Okay. So I'll work on that, and we'll see how it fits in just a minute. Alright, so this is where we are at this moment. Sorry for the shaking camera. I'll hold it still better now. Alright, so we have the body board, and we have our end braces and our waist braces, and I've got, just like the video from StewMac, I used a dowel and wrapped it with some tape, and that allows me to not damage the wood. Yeah, okay. Alright, same with the other side. Now, there's also some adjustment, so I can move this back and forth, and I found that was necessary because right here, when I just press them in, my focus is a little out, there we go. This was very flat. In fact, it is a little flat and right now, so I was able to twist this just a little bit, and it gave it a little more curve at the bottom, and I do want it to be roundish on the bottom. So see if I can improve this focus. So there are some little irregularities in the end here. It flares out a little bit. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'm going to put some water on it before I glue it, and that'll help it to flex a little bit, I think. I don't know. It probably won't have that much time to soak in. But what I'm going to want is a nice smooth curve, and that may be difficult to show on the camera, but I have no gap in that line. So there's a nice clean edge there, and that's at the tail, at the heel end. I have a similar situation, right? So it's a very clean edge. Now don't worry too much about the top edges here. These lines, oops, sorry. I'm looking at what I'm doing and not the camera. Alright, so these lines show where I'll actually plane it down to once I have the body glued like this. Then I'll work on shaping the top, or this is actually the back. Yeah. Now the back is tapered. So this, if you remember from my first video, this has a deeper depth and this has a less deeper depth, and that's how that side works. So I'm doing this top down because this is going to be a right angle to the top, and this is going to be a right angle to the top, but this is going to be that's going to be an acute angle. No, that's going to be an obtuse angle, so it's going to be a wide angle, and this is going to be an acute angle. See, there's a little bit of geometry I remember. Alright, now when I glue this, I'm going to place this block here, and I have a line to show me where to line up, and I'll actually draw a line all the way around there. I have my camera on fixed focus. I forgot to take it off that. I needed to do that before I started this. And then the heel block will go here, and again it'll line up on the line. And before I do anything, I'm going to put some index marks on my blocks to show the center lines as well. So I have it's actually migrated a tiny bit toward me on this side, and it has migrated a tiny bit away on the other side. So keeping that center is going to be really critical to maintaining the symmetry of the body of the uke. And we got some hobby ukes. They're just meant as a COVID-19 activity. And boy, I'll tell you, those shapes were so wonky. We haven't finished decorating them yet, but I'll put a video for comparison on that. All right, so what I've done here is placed the top, or rather the back, and it's upside down, I know, on the body itself, and I'm using this to make sure that I'm not going to have any gaps. What I want is a slight bit of overhang in as many places as I can. So when I glue this up, the waist brackets, the waist braces, I guess, I don't know, they'll probably not be here. Maybe they will. I might shorten them up before I do that, and I might shorten these guys up as well, because I'm going to want it to be anchored while I run the glue up, but I don't necessarily want them above the edge. And you can see here it's a little bit above the edge, and it's going to be above the edge over here. It's not so bad on the tail. All right, okay, I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, and I'm going to walk away from it and come back and make sure that it's ready to glue up, and I'll rig up the camera and you can watch me glue it, because that's the actions right there, the gluing, right? Okay. There it is. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is put some wax paper down. Oh jeez, I got a lot of dust bunnies on that wax paper. And this will keep me from gluing my project to my board. I'm not going to do anything really super fancy, but like that. See? Nothing to it. Alright, I got a hold of a bunch of these. I think they're mascara brushes, but I like them for spreading glue. They seem to work really good. I need to go get a little dish of water. Alright, now the water will give me a little more time to work. But I'm using Tight Bond 2. This is pretty good stuff. Right? I hope. Okay. I can see my index lines through the wax paper, so I won't have any trouble with that. Didn't clean that edge after I worked it. Alright. Making sure that both sides say the top is actually on the bottom. Let's see, I like going this way first. Oops. See what happens? You make all these plans, and the first thing that happens is nothing goes according to plan. Okay. And it snaps in. Alright, I'm going to line up my lines. Get everything centered. Okay. Alright. This is the heel block, and this part goes toward the top surface of the ukulele. Now, I don't know if it's visible, but there is a slight radius on this, and that will help to make the neck. So I'm going to clamp this one in first, and I'm going to wet this again. Well, not again, the first time. Now, I've also measured the distance for this dowel hole. If I was doing this myself, I would not have drilled the dowel hole at this stage, but that might also show my inexperience. Okay. I'm going to line this up on the center and on the top line. And then, see, I have everything ready, and then I didn't. But I'm going to let this establish the curve of that tail block. And it's pulling it right into shape. Get some squeeze out. I'm going to push this down a little farther. I've got even squeeze out on that side. Alright. Actually, not exactly centered. That's better. It had gotten off center somewhere. It's a good thing I have plenty of time to work, right? Clean this glue out of the corners. Now, while this will be on the inside, still, you know, might want to look at it. So anyway, this is the heel block. It's got a nice bevel around. And then it has, if you look closely, you can see it's got a slight angle to that cut. And that's going to correspond to the shape. I don't see how it does it, but it does it somehow. I figured it out before. Alright. So that's going to go like that. And now I have a little doubt, so I'm going to check. The beveled side is supposed to go to the top of the uke body. I'm going to get myself a little liquid. Liquid. Well, that wood sure is pretty when it's wet. Problem with my wax paper. Got into the this will be the blooper reel. So what happened was the wax paper got into the joint. And it made everything difficult. Okay. I'll reglue this edge. I'm just going to count on the glue that's on the other edge. Okay, see, I did it again. Actually, I think that was some of the old wax paper. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, that's a lot cleaner now. Alright. Beveled edge down, and I'm going to line it up. So I have a center line here, and then I also have my line around the rim. We'll just do a single clamp on this one. Added another clamp because I wasn't getting the kind of squeeze out on this side that I thought I should get. I'm going to switch to a bigger clamp. More force on that. Okay. Alright, so I got some squeeze out there. That tells me the joint has a lot of glue in it. There's a little bit, not right there, but I think it's alright. Alright, so there was some variation in the end pieces. And I think, well, there's just variation. This is not, you know, laser guided precision, but it's really close, and it looks, so far I'm really liking the way it looks. Everything looks like it's locked in pretty good. And there's probably some pros that are gonna look at that and say, man, you screwed this thing up or whatever. Well, I'm amateur, so yeah, so there. Okay, this is I'm gonna leave this overnight. I can probably get away with breaking it down in an hour or so, but I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna try to be patient and see what happens. All right, catch you guys later.